We need to get them that exposure to the workplace sooner and really to bring that relevance into the classroom all the way from K-12 through post-secondary, that really helps them see that it's not just the grades that I'm getting, but it's those foundational skills, it's the relationships, it's the interpersonal parts of it that are going to be critical. And I might be the smartest person in my class, but if I go to work and I am a complete arrogant jerk, I am not going to be successful. And the only way I mean, we can teach classes on interpersonal skills, and I think we should. I think we should talk about communication skills. I think we should do all of that. But I think the only way it becomes relevant is when you get that real exposure in the business, learning for yourself and applying at the same time that you're getting the work experience, applying the learning at the same time. I think that's the key. So I'll leave it with that.
A critical question that came to mind: were the school's skills that I learned sufficient enough to get me by at work the first day, the first week, month, year? And I honestly say no. There are some things that I needed to enter the workforce, to be ready for the workforce, to satisfy my employer's expectation. And the school did not get me all these skills. Some of it is collaboration, communication, the power of persuasion.
Your talent pipeline. And that's an important piece. And that would give students from the time they're in high school time to work in a business. We have interns working at our company right now, as we do every summer. And they leave us more ready to enter the workforce. They've made the mistakes without being an employee and getting fired. We coach them, so we pair them with mentors within our business. And that's what C-calls are all about. But it's not good enough to have a few good companies doing that. It needs to be part of the workforce system. So that's what we're committed to building over the next 4 to 5 years here in Colorado. With that, there's a digital component that will help us communicate with our education providers in the state, K through 16. But that engagement is how business can make a difference.
And we are never going to solve the attainment gap if all we keep telling kids is graduate from high school, go to a 4-year college and get a degree, and then you'll automatically have a job no matter what degree you get. That rhetoric works for 23% of kids in Colorado. 23% of kids that were freshmen in high school 10 years ago, that traditional career pathway worked for them. And that's great. It's great that it works for 23%. But we have to think differently about the other 77%. And they're not all failures. They're out there, they're successful, they're starting companies, they're getting, dropping out of college before they have their degree and getting really great jobs. They're doing apprenticeships, they're going to work in really great companies. We need to acknowledge those as also good paths, and we need to just instill in our culture that get the education, post-secondary education is critical. 81% of living wage jobs in Colorado require some post-secondary education. Go get something and get a good job. And while you're working, get the next step and the next step. And we just have to do a cultural shift.